Hello, everyone. My name is Aurélie Genet. I work at thetrainline.com, and I work at basically manage the promotion of the app across paid, but also owned channels.
Hi, I'm Will. I work for SpaceX Games. We focus on strategy games, and I work on the user acquisition team.
I'm Mick Rigby. The only reason I'm here is to wear a white doctor's coat. I run a mobile ad agency called Yodel Mobile.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rossa Shanks, and I run an app called Great Little Place.
So, our first developer who's coming for some advice is from a company called Jotta. I'm just waiting for the Jotta slides to come up. Hopefully they're going to appear any second. So maybe you can just introduce yourself and please welcome into the stage.
Thanks. Hi everybody. My name's Jay Shah. I'm not a developer, but I do conceptual design for our software applications, hardware products. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Jotter. Whenever the slides come up. Sell you the concept, right? Okay. So we're a platform technology that maps user interests and behavior patterns into what we call OpenDNA. One of the first apps that's actually interacting with OpenDNA is a very smart, intelligent newsreader. And just by the way you view content, the way you interact with various different content, it's building up a very rich profile, interest profile of every single user. I mean, just to give you an example, on our beta site, which launched in January, our average time on the platform was 16 minutes and 43 seconds, which is incredible. We're getting gaming level sort of interaction, but it's a newsreader. Just give you the next slide. So we use machine intelligence to understand user behavior and map interest profiles for users. But at the same instance, we've got over 1,000 pieces of content that gets delivered into Jotter. And we use natural language processing, so we're in partnership with IBM Watson to understand the meaning of content. We don't care about tags or search engine optimization or keywords or any of that. It's actually trying to understand the meaning of content. This is very, very important. So unlike a lot of companies that collect a lot of data on users and they keep it very private for the businesses, we are making it completely transparent. In fact, we don't have a privacy policy, we have a transparency policy. All data that we collect on users is fully transparent to the user and allowing the users to fully control their interest graph. And this technology is going to be made open to a lot of app developers in the coming months. One of the biggest elements of OpenDNA will be able to solve the biggest problem that all app developers have, which is onboarding process. The content that gets applied from over 1,000 sources they come in very beautiful, well-designed JOTs, as we call them, and they've been designed to be consumed within 21 seconds. Thank you.
We'll just go to the panel. Maybe they can ask you some questions, but we, just get some thoughts from each of them on what you should be doing to market the app.
So have you started acquiring users for the app yet?
We started a very short beta campaign back in January. We wanted to keep it very quiet. The company's been in development over 2 years. So we had 680 beta users. We kept it very small. We kept it very private. But we have various different user acquisition strategies. I mean, the typical one is ad networks, right?
Yeah.
But you're looking at between $1.75 to $2.50 for app install.
Not bad.
Yeah, if you can get it. But we're also looking at thought leadership pieces as well for Jotter. There's content advertising, so we're partnering up with Taboola and Outbrain for this particular activity. It's all about trying to drive that cost per install down. So we're using various different strategies for that particular element.
Have you analyzed the kind of characteristics, attributes of the super users?
Sorry, for?
Your super users.
For super. Well, from the beta platform, I mean, apart from 20 people, I had no idea who they were, apart from the fact the majority of the people were from the United States in terms of the demographic. But in terms of users, they were all sorts. I mean, we've got fashion content, sports, technology-related news, finance, politics. And what Jotter does, and here's the beauty, is that it starts finding and identifying patterns on what you're interested in. And it starts allowing you to discover brand new stuff that you would have never considered before. So it's constantly bringing you back into the app. So in terms of the average person, I guess the person who's actually reads newspapers or has LinkedIn on their phone or Facebook or Twitter would be a prime candidate as a user.
Can I ask a question? This is really clever. There's absolutely no doubt about it.
It's patent pending right now.
Good. But and it may be because I'm quite slow, but I need to know what the USP is. I mean, what in a sentence is the advantage of this over and above anything else that's out there or anything else that could be out there? Because once we know that, yep. I think that will then lead into all of the strategic communication and download stuff that you need to do.
Absolutely. Where it's a super smart, intelligent newsreader. It constantly understands your interest profiles and what you're really interested in, and identifies things that you would have never considered to read before. So you're always on top of your game. You stay smarter, you stay intelligent, you read a lot of stuff very, very quickly instead of spending an incredible amount of time going through multiple different websites. So.
And people want that.
People absolutely want that. I mean, 16 minutes and 43 seconds will get you 47 jots. I mean, that's, like I said, it's a gaming level interaction in a platform, but we're not a gaming platform.
And how does it monetize? Is it like a subscription service per month or
no?
Through ads,
so
or?
The app is totally free.
Yeah.
We are bringing in various different advertising models into the system. So one of the advertising models, there's one of the screenshots that I don't have right now, but your interest graph, in fact, hold on, have a look here. There we go. Your interest graph, you can actually choose any particular element within your interest graph and change the dynamic of that interest graph. And within milliseconds, it'll update your psychographic profile. And so from an advertising perspective, we're going to open it up to app developers and advertisers and everybody else. But advertisers will be able to pinpoint the exact psychographic profile of the individual. So if take an example, if you're a wine merchant selling high-end bottles of wine, there's a particular type of a candidate that will buy your product. So you're looking at someone who likes luxury travel, luxury products, gadgets, maybe like the Apple brand. And then you can actually tweak and identify the level and extent of that interest that a user has to have before that ad is targeted to that user.
Fair enough, it's pretty clever stuff.
So you want to know how you can get users?
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't we all? The biggest challenge. So the business I run, we work with a lot of traditional publishers, from The Economist and The Mail, The Telegraph, big Time Inc. Tons of those. It is one of the hardest sectors that we work in across the board in terms of getting traction. And I think that the biggest challenge that we see in terms of communication is people saying, well, that's information, I can get that anywhere, and I can find what I want. And actually cutting through to the nub of what the key is. I mean, that's why I asked you to simplify it. I think you're going to have to be so smartly focused on one or two key things to really drive through, because there's so much news out there, there's so much information out there, and we got the world at our fingertips. So, I think I would start, rather than start about the channel, I would purely start from the communication strategy, your tone of voice, your pitch, that kind of stuff. Once you've got that message, then you start looking at the channels.
Absolutely.
To add to that, the reason why I asked, have you analysed the kind of characteristic, demographics of the current super users?
Yeah.
You need to start with your ideal profile of the user you're after, what they're into, etc., etc. Combine that with the message, and then go out to market, because there's no point sort of chasing kind of vanity downloads unless you've figured out that exact persona, that exact profile. Then you'll know how to talk to them, because there's only one P of marketing, and that's people. So start from there and cultivate the message around them. And then that'll unlock the channels. So it's not a question of, go and try this ad network, or go and try Facebook, or go and try Twitter. if you understand the person, then you'll understand how to reach them. And then there's, I mean, you do stuff that doesn't scale at first because, you know, you're not going to get to 1 million users overnight. So why don't you go on, I don't know, meetup.com and search out some sort of micro communities that are really into the news or whatever, you know, political affair, whatever it might be, subject areas that the content that you have in the app, and go from there, and then build it around them.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're talking about these two particular elements, there is the news consumption user, so who's just literally just consuming a lot of content, but there's also the publisher. So Jodder users very soon will be able to publish 325 characters, which is basically takes an average person 21 seconds to read. So you can publish audio, video, images, and text as well. And the beauty about it is that, unlike search engine optimization with Jodder, it's based on interaction level. So the more someone actually interacts with your content, you start scaling up and you become the top trending story very quickly. So it's now trying to talk to small, medium businesses, app developers who actually have got great products, but they're getting lost in the whole search engine, you know, sphere. So it's that type of a community as well.
So just to understand it, it's a newsreader that combines articles from different publications, but is also a kind of medium.com where I can publish my own
well,
thoughts.
Medium's the full articles. So this one, you can, so the way it works is, let's say you publish so if you've got a blog, so on Medium, you publish an excerpt of that blog into Jodder. And based on the level of interaction that Jot gets, you will start getting a lot of traffic to your Medium blog or business or whatever you have. But your story becomes the top trending story very, very quickly. And it's all about the meaning of the content as opposed to what you've just tagged.
Okay, so you're a content player. So when I get there as a user, I'm expecting great content.
Absolutely.
So in a weird way, you're like a marketplace. You're a double-sided marketplace. You got users, you got content.
Absolutely.
It's sort of chicken and egg, but it isn't really. You've got to concentrate on having amazing content there to start with, so that whenever you're driving traffic towards the app, the users have an incredible experience. So I'd go out to the best bloggers, the most engaged, you know, within reach people on Medium, and then get them on and places like that.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's one of the thought leadership pieces when we're trying to get out to attract the top publishers into the systems. Right now we have over 1,000 sources coming into the platform, and users have the ability to keep on increasing those number of sources as well if they want. But yeah, absolutely.
Without sorry guys, so we've got two other fascinating case study. I'll probably keep going, but we've got two other developers eager for treatment. They could die any moment. It's patients in pretty good health.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
Thank you.
I'd just like everyone to thank Jota for coming up and sharing that, and good luck to them. So please give them a hand. We're going to have Jump Nuts. Is that right, Ed? Ed from Jump Nuts. He's going to be talking about his game. And so, quick explanation, and then we'll go to the panel for a couple of follow-ups. And then if you just each give a bit of advice, and then we've got one more developer. Okay.
Hi everyone. Can everyone hear me? Hello? Should I just go? Okay. Hi everyone. Edwin Simmons. I work at a mobile gaming studio called Affolai. We create casual games aimed at quite a large audience. We're creating our first game called Jump Nuts, and it's going to release pretty soon, so this is quite good timing. I'll just show you the game first and then tell you where we're at on the marketing front. Thanks. Next slide. Just keep pressing the button, hope something happens. Well, the game, okay, yeah, the game is it's a quite simple single tapping endless style game, and the idea is that you jump from one nut to the next and you try not to fall off, and you can collect gems along the way and try to unlock new characters. You can also compete for high scores across the world. In terms of the graphics, get an idea of the graphics there. And in terms of the model that we're trying to replicate, there's been quite a few apps that have done well in this sort of category. Apps like Zigzag, Jelly Jump, they're all pretty simple apps that have done quite well. And then we've tried to collect some data to sort of understand the audience and how people are using the app, and on the retention, there's sort of drop off after day one, and that stays pretty standard or pretty straight after the first day, and then until about day 24, where it drops off quite rapidly. And we've learned also that it's a relatively sort of young user base that are using the game, so between 13 and 17, and also that it's mostly males that use the game. In terms of where I'm at on the marketing front, just thought it'd be helpful to sort of lay out what I've done to date. I've got some friends on Facebook that I could hassle about the game when the release comes out, although realistically not all of them are going to want to hear about my game. We've been tweeting a little bit on Twitter, and trying to build up a little bit of an audience that way, and also getting some email addresses together for people that have taken a bit of interest in the app as well. I've got some press targets that I've been emailing to sort of try and build up a bit of a relationship with, and also £5,000 spending money that I'm willing to put towards user acquisition. So with that, I just thought it'd be handy to know from you guys what your thoughts are in terms of what I've done, and also any additional comments that you've got in terms of what else I could do to make the app a success.
Can you just clarify a few things? So have you just been beta testing it at the moment? Is that the data you've got?
Beta testing, yeah.
So it hasn't actually launched?
It's not launched yet, no.
And that, I couldn't really see it, but what was the core demographic?
It was between, well, I mean, it's quite a large spread, I guess, the nature of the market that it's targeting. But the highest grouping is between 13 and 17.
So you've got the data here. You can then, when you do go, full launch, you can use that data to inform all your social media marketing campaigns. I'm guessing you're going to monetize through ads. So I'd scout that here's a perfect place to do it, like the best provider for video ads and publishing deals that you can get from here. It's also the best place to get sort of good volumes of users coming in at like reasonable prices, because obviously Facebook and YouTube, the quality's there, but it's very competitive as well. So just bear that in mind. If obviously you're just starting out, might be like stage 2 of your user acquisition, go to like social, but start with video networks first and things like that. Maybe incentivize traffic.
And is YouTube like a realistic platform for a game, a sort of indie game developer to be able to?
Absolutely, yeah. Reach out to your Google representative, and they'll get you going. It's quite fairly uncompetitive compared to other social media channels, so it's a good place to start, I'd say.
So you've got $5,000. You're going to have to work so bloody hard. I mean, I think that's key. I mean, there's so much you can do, but you haven't got the budget to really push it. So what you're going to have to do is make sure it's fit for purpose when you launch. So you've got to get the right analytics in, and there's 4 or 5 businesses in this room that could certainly help you. They could all do a really good job for you. So you've got to make sure you've got your attribution analytics in place. You've got to make sure you've got your ASO spot on. And again, there's been so much information today, shared, which is really useful. So hopefully you've captured all of that. I think the product to me, works. It's really simple. There's something likable in there, but you're competing with a ton of other businesses out there. It's going to be in exactly the same work. So you're going to have to put the hard yards in. You're going to have to pick up the phone. You're going to have to speak to every man, Jack and Harry in the sector. You're going to have to make sure you get to know people at Apple and Google and all the other networks. You're going to have to beg, borrow and steal and get as much traction as you can.
Just start annoying people.
Don't annoy them. For God's sake, don't annoy them. Just make sure that they know you're out there.
Yeah, I'd echo that in terms of you're going to have to work really hard. A couple of things. So yes, what Mick just said, introduce yourself to Apple, get a contact there, start explaining that you're about to launch. They've got editorial teams. They like to break stories. So get in there, explain what the product's all about. It's great that you pre-launch still. 250 press targets. Your core target is 13 to 17-year-old males. I'm guessing they're probably not going to be reading 3/4 of the press targets you've got up there, whatever they are. So you've got to concentrate on what they're doing. And I would go so far as to say, forget about the budget. 13 to 17-year-olds are at school. I'd go and maybe speak to different schools, see if you can do a presentation on how to launch a business.
Okay.
and then pick an area where you've got like 20 schools and get around them in a couple of days, and you've just spoken to 10,000 of your core audience. I think imaginatively, because at that level of cash, it's not about the cash.
Yeah.
I'd do stuff for free. I wouldn't even worry about the $5,000.
Have you spoke to the Catch Up guys? Is that a possibility to?
Yeah, I think it's part of the plan. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Have you had any experience with Catch Up?
Sorry.
Do you know much about Catch Up?
I play a lot of their games, but I don't know them. But
And about inside the app, do you use like social plugins? And because for me, in game, what's really important is the user experience. And you know, if I can unlock anything by inviting my friends, and like I've discovered so many games because my friend would walk up to me and be like, "Oh, check out this game; it's really cool." And then, so the word of mouth is really important, and actually activating that through, you know, email it to a friend, text it to a friend, or you know, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. That's what can unlock like crazy volume.
one more thing, sorry. I think community hacking would be a great thing to, you know, the Flappy Bird Twitter handles, things like that. Just follow them, try and gather a kind of a community that really likes this type of game, and obviously then promote your game to these guys, basically.
Cool. Okay.
And there'll be a ton of app review sites and stuff for games that you can just submit for free.
Brilliant. Thanks so much.
Okay, big hand for Ed. Good luck with the game. It looks really good. Okay, guys, we've got one more developer and then it's tea. We've only got 5 minutes, so it's just going to be a quick one, unfortunately. I wanted to include it because I just thought it's such an interesting app and totally different kind of idea.
In a nice, a bit frightening to be intimidated by 4 doctors at once. I find it hard to talk about.
So we've got a video, I think. If we can play the video, and then we're just going to have we're just going to have a quick overview of the app, and then one piece of advice per.
Could you play the video? Okay, I'm a child and family psychologist, so that kind of orientates me to the whole issue of apps. Yes, it's about information and communication, but it's also about meaning, I think, and stories. Shall I start again? No, I think most of you got that. Okay, so it's about information, but for me, very much it's about stories and feelings. Words that haven't been really buzzed around here today. We see and saw from the beginning, in terms of our vision and mission statement for Family Steps, the potential for the animated app to be able to deal with issues about feelings and families and relationships and those sort of slightly intangible things that I think we've avoided a little bit today. Can we play the video, just to give you, it's a 45-second promo video. It'll flash you through one of our apps. This one's called Kids and Divorce, and it's about helping...
helps parents and children explore key issues for emotional well-being. It is fun to play with and lets you express feelings and thoughts about divorce and family breakup. It also helps you see your new life taking shape. K&D is designed for both parent and child, where children can let their imaginations roam free, helped by their guides, Katie and Dan. We want parents to be involved right from the start in helping their children to bring up how they feel about their issues in real life. Let's begin.
Okay, so that just gives you a little flavour. We've got a sort of rider app out there called Make My Family, which is a family avatar game to get families together. And that's a sort of a free app to begin to tune people into Family Steps. This is a purchasable app. We've got 4 more planned, all around the issue of living together as a family, growing together, facing the challenges, the problems, and using really this animated story narrative framework for self-authorship. And I think that's a key concept, you know, to the internet that we must understand. Jobs was a genius. When he gave us that touch screen to sort of engage with our hands, he activates the imagination and our emotions in a new way. Kids do that. You go to the App Store and you see the 12-month-old kids sitting there transfixed. People are saying, don't buy your kids books, buy them a tablet. You know, and that's the way the morphing sort of plastic developing brain engages with all those visuals and sounds. So, as a company, we're a small startup struggling to get off the couch, doctors. So any advice you can give us, please help us. You know, we recognize we're in a specialist framework, And what we're seeking to do is to connect with already existing platforms. We just got engaged attached to one through Twitter called Life Through Divorce, who are in 26 countries based in America. So we're feeling really upbeat about that, and we've got a 5-page spread on that. But that's really where our main thrust of marketing is at the moment.
What stage are you at? So when did you launch? How many users you got?
We launched in the UK in the autumn, and we launched globally in February.
Okay.
So is it you're providing advice? It's kind of gamification. Excuse the word, because obviously the subject matter is quite serious. But you're providing advice and how kids could get through. In the instance that you showed us, how kids could get through quite a tough situation. Is that correct?
Yes, but it's also very upbeat and future-focused as well, in terms of, they have their 2 houses that they can design and the new lifestyle that they've got. Yeah, gamification is fine, absolutely. I'll throw back the word serious to you, yes, because in reviews people say that, but of course we've had to be upbeat. We knew we had to create something aesthetic and interactive to engage children who are natural story makers.
Sure. So, to me, the fact that it's an app is simply that is the channel that you've chosen to provide this service that individuals can buy. It could sit in all sorts of different environments. It could be a video, it could be a storybook, but you've created this interactive element through mobile. So even though it's in the mobile environment, I would argue that your best traction is not necessarily going to be using mobile to push it. It might be your partnerships, it could be charities, it could be, your local GP. Yes. I mean, we'll try and put it in our surgery, but that's where I'm coming from. That might be your best initial entry into.
Yeah, I think all of that's congruent with our initial thinking. We've been building up an experts database and had reasonable responses from that. But I hear what you're saying about that generality. Did you want to say something?
I was going to say, would you expect parents to bring that to the kid as a way for them to communicate, or would you expect the kid to just find it and then start to interact with it?
Yeah, we don't know about this. We're still trying to find out, and that's a key question. Who are we actually trying to expose our material to for them to discover it? Is it kids, do you think, or is it parents that are going to be most interested in purchasing this? Can we have a quick scan for the audience? How many people think kids will buy this? Put your hands up. Okay, how many people think parents will buy it? Yeah, okay, thanks very much.
In that case, you have a lot of, especially if you talk to mums, there's a lot of apps out there. We've seen, pregnancy and all of that, and women are really
I loved that work on parents and health today. I thought that was absolutely well. I can see why it's such a global hit.
How about talking to people like BBC and Channel 4 and NHS and trying to get their support, and then they can potentially push it on their channels if you're trying to build a user base? Yeah,
I think that's a great idea, and we've started an ongoing dialogue with teachers in schools.
Okay, guys. Well, again, wish we could please a big hand and.